And this is the kit that I carry. The stove is inside. This is an Esbit Titanium TI 750 cook pot. It comes in this nice little nylon mesh bag. It's got a couple of pockets here that you can put the Esbit utensils in. I use some longer polypropylene ones and they won't fit, so that's why they're not in here. But this has been a great little cook set. This is my go-to for simple day hikes in all weather. I made a little cozy here for the cook pot itself. And I just slide this thing off. And here's the pot itself. It's titanium, 750 mLs, pretty good size, well over a couple cups, very durable and lightweight. The only thing I did to this cook pot, which I'll have a separate review on, was I put a simple zipper tie on the lid. Using gloves in the winter, it's kind of tricky to grab a hold of this lid sometimes, especially when the little bar is down. So this makes grabbing it and using it in colder weather very, very nice. I have one of the small 100 gram isobutane cartridges in here. This is a new cartridge. I mean, I've used it a little bit, but it does have the true propane isobutane. The propane and isobutane mix inside of it. Most of these I refill, like this MSR I refill with strictly butane, and I put the dates and how much I put in it and stuff like that, and I use these in any weather above about 40 degrees and they work just fine, no problem whatsoever. But these are going to give you a bit better performance with the mix in colder weather. So this is the stove itself. I've got it wrapped inside of a handkerchief, which we know has multiple uses, but look at this little thing. This thing is just a nice little piece of engineering. This is the Firemaple FMS-116T, which of course stands for titanium. Runs about $30 on dx.com. I'll put the links down below. This weighs about 47 grams, about 1.7 ounces. It's only about 2 3/4 inches tall. When they're assembled, it comes in two pieces. All you do is screw the piece on the bottom here, which has the valve, the lindle mail, and of course the orifice here for the gas to come up inside the stove itself. Screw them together, and this is about 2 3/4 inches tall. The spread for the pans that you're going to probably be using is about 4 1/4 inches, so perfect for my Esbit pot. But you can stick some quite larger ones on here. I've had some of the larger GSI pots and some other ones on here without any kind of a problem at all. It's stable when it's put on top of one of the larger cans, no problem at all. But with the TI, the smaller can, it works great for a base, no problem at all. This is about 12,000 BTUs or 2820 watts. As I mentioned, it's stainless steel and titanium. This does not have an igniter on it. I always carry a lighter anyway, so it's no big deal for me. It saves you a couple of grams. But they do have one with a lighter on it, a different version. It's about $2 to $3 more. To use this, all you need to do is hook it onto any Lindell valve fuel source, and in this case it just happens to be the mix that I've got. This is an original jet boil canister. It has a really nice, simple little valve which creates a very, very good simmer. And there it is. Very quiet. Turn it up, you get a little bit more of a flame. But this is a very simple little stove that I have come to enjoy. It's very reliable, very lightweight, no fuss, no muss. Now of course, this also works on the other fuel sources that I have with the Lindell valve. And of course, refilling these tanks with strictly butane. Just screws on like the normal tank. Pop those little stands out if I can get them all out. And again, just simply open up the valve just a bit. And there we go. A very reliable flame. This is a very simple stove. I mean, you can't get much simpler. It is just fantastic for backpacking. Now, you're going to want a windscreen for this. Any one of the ones that come from the bottom here and come up are going to be your best bet. You're going to make sure that if you use this in warmer weather that you don't overheat the cartridge. Another option that you have for fuel source is using one of these things. This is the 1 pound strictly 100% propane canisters. Now I refill these as well, and they run about 75 cents when you refill them. This is a Covia gas adapter. As you can see, it creates the exact same Lindell valve. So any device that uses isobutane cartridges or the Lindell valve canisters for fuel can be placed on top of this tank. Now the tank, as I mentioned, is all propane. These are simple bulk ones you get at the stores, like 2 for $5 or $6. These are very heavy though, as far as backpacking is concerned, but they do have their place for doing certain things. Now this, of course, was not designed, the stove itself was not designed to be run off of strictly propane. It was designed for the mixes. So keep that in mind whenever you use this with any stove. Now I've used this on many stoves, and a little bit of common sense prevails here. I've never had a problem with anything. So all I do is simply screw it on like you would. Now this is a little bit, looks kind of quirky, but I mean, it's a stable platform. It's a little taller probably than what I would like, but it does work. This allows you to use a fuel source that is fantastic in cold weather with a stove that you already own. The drawback, of course, is the weight, size, and of course the price of this adapter, which is about $30. Again, just simply crank it open, and there you go. And it'll run like the devil. I'm not going to let it run too long, so if it makes it too hot, I got to wait to put the bloody thing away. So this is a simple little operation. Now some of the larger stoves would lend themselves better to this type of tank. And of course they make a strictly propane stove just for that, Coleman and some of the other companies. But this allows you to use the same stove that you have with this tank. Again, cold weather is the key, but also if you're driving to a campground, you're going to be starting your hike the next morning, why waste your expensive fuel for that night and the next morning's meals when you can simply use a, well, 75 cents if you refill these with an adapter for from the large 20-pound tanks. And it makes a simple little device. This is the Firemaple setup with the Isobutane titanium pot. As I said, it lends itself really to smaller pots, but I've had some larger ones on there. This, for example, is the pot that's another Isobutane pot, and this comes with a solid fuel system. It comes with a simple 2-piece. And this, of course, fits on here fine with no problem whatsoever. And of course, I put in larger ones, perfect with no problem. Even a large fry pan, and it works very well. And it's reasonably stable. So it makes a nice, simple little stove to carry backpacking. As I said, this thing has now become my go-to day backpacking stove and an overnighter. It's just been a fantastic little system here that enables me to refill these little cartridges, which I don't have one of these refilled with me, but it's the right size to fit inside the Cookset, and makes a very simple, streamlined little kit with the cozy that I made. I made this out of a couple of cup holders that I found. And it's a little snug, but it works pretty good. And that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll put the links to all the devices that I've been using here, including the camera setup. Thank you.